What's up, guys? Ice about hell. So, I made an item. Alright, I've improved upon an item. And not just any item. No. But Tyrael's might item. Yeah. The item that everybody wants to find, but nobody really needs. Because it's pretty damn useless until now. Because I've actually made some nice changes to it. But I think the changes that I've made might be, no pun intended, just a bit too powerful. So I think I would actually turn it down a notch or two. Alright. But of course, what I added here is a might aura. Granted, a pretty damn high might aura, because I gave it a level 20 might, which of course increases the damage of yourself and that of your party. So, when it comes to melee or physical damage, things like that, you know? So basically, it's pretty damn powerful, and a level 20 might gives 230 enhanced damage. Another thing I did to it is I gave it 3 sockets. Alright, those are the only 2 mods that I made on it. Of course, the reason I did this is because this armor sucks ass. Just as many other uniques in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Most of them, in fact. We always see the same shit on everybody. It's primarily due to the reason that the competition of said items simply doesn't come close. Alright? Like, when it comes to Tyrael's might, for example, what do you have that you generally would want to wear over it? Say when it comes to endgame gear. Well, of course, there's Enigma, giving any character the ability to teleport, which is a damn hard thing to pass up on. It also gives two-to-wall skills, some nice magic find, and other great mods, none of which Tyrael's might had to offer in the past. We also have an item like Fortitude, which gives 300% enhanced damage. Chilling armor effect. All res. A ton of life. And a bunch of other very useful shit. Alright? Whereas Tyrael's might, it's ass. Yeah, granted it's indestructible. Not that that really matters that much. The defense isn't equivalent to that of Fort, especially when the chilling armor casts. It lets you run a little faster. It gives you 30 strength, up to 30 to all res, and cannot be frozen, which is actually a really nice mod. But it just all pales in comparison, is that how you say? Is it pales in comparison, or is it fails in comparison? Let me know in the comments below. All of which pales in comparison to the likes of Enigma, or the likes of Fortitude. Even something like Treachery, you generally would want to wear over this piece of trash. Alright. But I think I made it a little too strong. Look at this. Hell yeah. No, this is just Act 1 hell, right outside of the Rogue encampment. So I'll take it somewhere else, but let me show you the rest of the gear. What I would probably do... Now keep in mind, I don't have anything in the sockets, alright? And here's the other gear that this guy's wearing. Just to showcase it. And I'm going to show you the damage that it adds. There's Breath of the Dying, Laying of Hands, GG Ring. No, not really. I just needed the strength, and it was what I had in my inventory. String of Ears, Raven Frost, so I have some redundant cannot be frozen. Just something I had around, so I popped it on. Gore Rider, Grief, which is an absolute hog of a weapon. Hell yeah. Some little niche High Lords with the run walk. I know you guys want that thing. You guys want that, don't you? Oh my god! And okay, I'm tripling up on that cannot be frozen. Tripling up on that shit. Hell yeah. That's how you do it. Now let's see what the Might Aura adds. Let's just compare it with the damage of the Breath of the Dying. Because of course, Grief is the hidden damage, so it's going to be not as noticeable what it's actually doing. So the top one is the Breath of the Dying. So let's see how much the 20 might adds. Now, I do know a level 20 might aura grants you and your party 230% enhanced damage, all right? Not like fanaticism where it offers you enhanced damage, a higher amount of enhanced damage than it does to that of your party. Granted, fanaticism also is IAS and attack rating, of course. So fanaticism is awesome. But I gave it a might aura because it's kind of thematic. I mean, it's called Tyrael's Might. I feel like someone in the comments of one of my previous videos recommended maybe redemption aura on this thing, which would be very overpowered, potentially. But of course, there's a shield called Phoenix that has redemption. And for the record, not everyone uses it, you know? Might be a bit too OP to have redemption of the armor. I don't know. But what do you guys think? But let's see what it does. So, 3014, 3014 max damage. And then with it, 4218 max damage. And it also buffs up, of course, the minimum damage a little bit. So what is that? It adds about 1200 to the max damage, all right? Now let's see how much Fort adds. See that? Fort adds a little bit more, all right? Getting a little bit more damage off of Fort. And you get the other Knight's mods. I mean, look at the life on the thing. And it has more defense on its own, and then you cast the Chilling Armor, and you get a hell of a lot more defense. Max Lightning Res, damage reduction, damage taken goes to mana, faster cast rate. I mean, all of these mods are useful. You know, but still, I think I made this a bit too powerful. What I think should be done is maybe something like this, only maybe a level 10 might, to where the only way it could get close to the damage of Fort is if you, say, put 3 times 40 enhanced damage jewels in it. Now, if you wanted to make it extremely expensive, you could put something like 4015 jewels in it, or 3015 jewels in it, or whatever you could find. And I think that would be quite an item chase, which is why I like this. Because T-Might, for example, I've never found one. And I've played this game a lot, all right? I've been playing this game since it came out. I took a few breaks here and there, but I never found a Tyrael's Might. I found a Zod rune. I found a Burr rune. Is that how you say it? Let me know in the comments. A Burr rune? I found me a Burr rune. I found me a Low rune. I found me a Cham rune. Found me a Cham rune right there. A couple other things. I mean, I found a lot of the runes, all right? Found a lot of things. I found Mang Sung's Lesson, right? Very rare staff. Found Wind Force. Yeah, I found Wind Force. Think I found Grandfather. I don't know. I found a lot of items, man. I found Griffins. Now, some of these were mods, so they had higher player counts to the games, like Players 5 or Players 8 loot or whatever. But I found a lot of these items, all right? But I never found me a Tyrael's Might. Have you guys found a Tyrael's Might? Let me know in the comments if you have. But I think something like this, give us a Might aura, and then it has some variety to it. You can wear it like with a summoner. The summoner druid sucks anyway. What they did in D2R, the so-called buff, the summons absolutely suck. So it's not like you're going to be OP if you're a summon druid wearing Tyrael's Might, or if you put this thing on your mercenary for that matter. Now, what's interesting is, it is a Might aura, and a lot of endgame physical builds or whatnot, they have the Act 2 mercenary with Might, and in some cases they'll put Pride Runeward on him, so he has both Might and concentration. So if you were to have this on, for example, it's going to override the Might that you have on your mercenary. Unless if he has a higher Might, then his will override your Might, but they're not going to stack, and you're not going to need both of them. So it's pretty much going to eliminate the need for an Act 2 mercenary in that regard, which might open up a few other options for a mercenary. You could have, finally, we could justify, outside of a Windforce wielding Amazon, using a rogue mercenary, Act 1 mercenary. I will use the proper pronoun in this case, in D2R. He, then, could wield the Faith Bow. And then you'll have fanaticism coupled with Might. So, things like that, it could make for some interesting builds. You won't as much need the Act 2 mercenary. You could use the Frenzy Merc which is actually very effective in Diablo 2 Resurrected. So you have even more of a reason to wear the Frenzy Mark. And hell, you could put Tyrael's Might on him. But let me know, do you guys think it's a little too powerful? I mean, you could make it, like I said, kind of like Treachery. You could just put 3 15 IS jewels in there. Then you'll have 45 IS, level 20 Might. But I'm thinking, more realistically, maybe like a level 10 Might on this thing, and the chance of it rolling 1 to 3 sockets. Just to increase the rarity of getting a gem like this, to where it'll be far more common to be able to make something like Fortitude than to get something like this. Especially if maybe you have the Might vary from... I mean, shit, maybe you have the Might have a wide variance, like 5 to 15 or something, or 5 to 20 for that matter. And then 1 to 3 sockets. But what do you guys think? I mean, to be honest with you, we should probably have another item that has teleport. If Enigma's already here, if Enigma's here to stay as it is, which I know there's endless debate going on whether or not that should be a thing, but if Enigma is here to stay, shouldn't we have something else we could use instead of it? In which case, you're going to have teleport on said item, right? Put teleport on Tyrael's Might. Screw it. What do you guys think? Anyway, let's see how effective this guy is. I'm going to go kill some crap in the Frigid Highlands. And we'll see how it performs right there. So as mentioned, in this iteration, I have nothing in the sockets. So say this was only a level 10 Might or whatever, and then say that I did have 3 times 40 enhanced damage jewels in it. This is about, probably, give or take a little bit, the effect that you'll be seeing in terms of pure damage output, alright? And this is only players 1. So it's not like it's crazy overpowered. If I were to turn this on players 8, or players 5 for that matter, he's already going to be going vastly slower than, say, a relatively decent geared Jabazon, or a sorceress of basically any type. He's going to be performing slower than that anyway, in terms of clear speed. So I don't think doing something like this is going to break the damn game. It's really just going to enable us to maybe justify trying something else for once. So let me try the Triumph. Several hits each. That's fine. It's kind of what I'm looking for, you know? I mean, let me know in the comments. What other items do you guys think could be altered a little bit to make them a bit more usable? I'm really just fixing to come up with some ideas to make other items a bit more usable, or usable at all for that matter. So we have other choices, you know? Where it doesn't always have to be Shaco, Enigma, Arak, and then whatever else in the slots. You know, Laying of Hands, Goal Riders, High Lords, or Maras, depending on your build. Spirit Shield, no matter what. You know, things like that. Grief, you know what I'm saying? Now, I like having kind of like potentially best in slot gear, but I just think some shit has to be made a little better, alright? Like I want to be pleased when I see a Tyrael's Might drop. Because right now, when it drops, you're like, oh, that's wow, it's the most rare item in the game, pretty much. And in terms of weapons, armors, and things of that sort. So maybe that's cool, I found it. You know, that's pretty much all that happens. I want it to be, oh wow, Tyrael's Might just fell. I can actually use this. And this is like one of the rarest things in the game. I feel rewarded now. You see what I'm saying? You guys, you know where I'm going with that, right? I want it to be a somewhat euphoric experience, like how it is when you see a Burr rune drop. Or even a Zod rune drop, for that matter. I want it to be a good experience. And the same thing applies to when, say, Meng Song's Lesson falls. Because right now it's just a piece of shit. And it would be nice if it were actually usable. Add some pierce to it. Add a bunch of sockets. Add more skills. Add things like that. You know, a ton of FCR. Something like that. A nice aura. Give them some effects. I mean, hell, maybe even have Meng Song just randomly roll any given paladin aura. Imagine that. Because everyone would be chasing for that, like, conviction Meng Song's Lesson. Wouldn't that just be awesome? or redemption, Meng Song's lesson, or meditation for that matter. What if, like, there's so much they could do, and they just haven't done much for D2R at all, this Vicarious Visions team. And I'm thinking there's a reason as to why a lot of us went with the mods. Because that's what I did. I went with the mods after I realized they existed, because there's actually a team who are passionate fans working on it to try to enhance it and make it better. Because as much as I loved D2, I wanted something more, a couple years back. And that's when I discovered Path of Diablo, for example, and then Project Diablo 2. But I mean, it wouldn't take much. Like, just here now is Ice Boy. I'm not like an engineer or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not much of an artist. I never saw myself as much of an artist, like painting and shit, or making things, or making puzzles and games. But even I can just sit here for 10 fucking minutes and make something like this that completely makes sense. And if you give me a couple hours, I could do this with all sorts of other things, and I'll have, a freaking patch coming up here that pretty much everyone's going to be happy with. If you give me just a couple hours. And I'm not working full, they're not even paying me. You know what I mean? Like, they're paying people, aren't they paying people over at Vicarious Visions to work on this game or whatever? So you'd think that if this is like their full-time job, maybe they could come up with like 10 items and just make them better and usable without like breaking the game or whatever. The game's already broken. And we're already all using Enigma or Fortitude. Grief is the best no matter what. The game's already broken. It's just we just embraced it. But let's just make the items a little bit more interesting. It's kind of what I'm thinking here. You give me a couple hours, man, I could do this with 10 or 20 other items. And like I said, I'm not even an artist or an engineer, whatever. All right? So if I could do that, come on, man. What are you waiting for? Come on, man. Let me know in the comments. What other items do you guys want to see me work up? All right? And give me some examples in the comments. I'm curious what you guys have to say. So like this video if you will. Hit the thumbs up button. Become a patron if you want to support me, or a channel member. Links in the description below. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace be with you.